So my name is McNeive. I'm 23 years old and I'm from Knock in County Mayo. Currently living up here in Clontarf for college. And my story pretty much began from birth. I was born with a condition called triad syndrome, very rare condition, which ultimately led to my right kidney being removed after 14 months old. And my whole childhood I've been in and out of Crumlin Hospital, several surgeries, in and out, coming up from Mayo. My mother loved the journey up and down, so she did. And in 2009, I started my peritoneal dialysis. Anyone who knows peritoneal dialysis, it's a tube in your stomach into your peritoneal cavity, and it's very dexterous work. My mother thankfully learned to do it at home. It consisted of 12 hours per session, so 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., 4 days on, 2 days off, and that lasted 9 months. And then thankfully I got that favoured phone call in early 2010 for come to Temple Street, there's a kidney waiting for you. So mother, now another trip up to Dublin. She'd love to hear that, and thankfully the staff in Temple Street absolutely brilliant. The transplant went very smoothly, and it's funny, I'm a twin and I was always 4 inches smaller than him. As soon as I got the kidney, it started to grow, my energy levels bounced up. I was at school, I was more attentive. The quality of life drastically increased. And not having that tube in your stomach, I finally got my childhood back in a way. I'd be on the machine in my home and I could hear my brothers outside playing football, or there'd be barbecues going on in the summer that I wouldn't be able to take part in. I'd just be on the machine, reading a book or doing homework. And in 2015, my kidney started to reject, unfortunately. So I went on a 4-month course of therapy to halt the rejection of IVIG or rituximab. Anyone who's in the medical profession knows how much that takes a toll on your system. And that was very tough. In my Leaving Cert year, I missed the whole first semester from September to December. And then eventually, in 2018, the kidney finally rejected. And that was my first year of college. The Monday I was due to start my college course was the Monday they actually put the catheter into my chest to start dialysis. And then anyone who knows dialysis, I was in Beaumont Hospital 3 times a week to 4 times a week, depending on how bad my bloods were. And going from Kevin Street down the road, that's where my college course is, to Temple Street or to Beaumont Hospital 3 to 4 times a week. Obviously missed a lot of college, but thankfully my mate James, who's here with me today, as soon as I get to dialysis, the notes were sent on. So I was looked after on that front. They were very good lads to have in the course with me. And that's the thing it's funny now, my college course is called Clinical Measurement Science. I'm actually working with a few of the people here in Beaumont, doing ECGs, echoes, EEGs and the likes. So it's kind of come full circle. Spent a lot of time in hospital, but funny enough, I actually love the hospital environment. Loved it so much I wanted to work there. It's very handy now. I finished my job and go up to dialysis then for the detox, as I do call it. So I started working in a hospital environment, with the staff, the admiration I have for them. Growing up, you don't realise how good the health system in Ireland is until you're on the system. Anything you need, anything you want, you're so well looked after, well catered to. But the dialysis now, the diet especially, is very restrictive for a college student, as you can imagine. The fluid allowance wasn't always obeyed. But dialysis now, since having the kidney, you don't realise the difference of quality of life that kidney meant to my life. Dialysis now 3 times a week, sometimes 4. All my family and my friends have gone skiing the last 12 months if they've gone abroad. Can't take part in that. Unless there's a dialysis centre near where you want to go abroad. Not always the case, especially during COVID, no one was taking anyone. Unfortunately now, when I first started dialysis, I thought, oh, brilliant. I have a kidney in no time. I have a twin brother, a mother, and my older brother. None of them are matches. So I was like, what's the point of having a twin if he's not a match for a kidney, So unfortunately then the whole COVID pandemic started and there was a massive kind of halt in transplants happening. So as the key word is it's a waiting list. Yeah, that's what you are. It's a waiting game. This would be my second kidney, so I have a very high level of antibodies. So I'm not that hard. I'm very hard to transplant. But thankfully there is other options. There are other avenues to explore. Not sure if anyone's ever heard of the parent exchange, the kidney exchange scheme over in Coventry. So unfortunately, around the cases for many people, my mother's not a match for me, and say, Carol could not be a match for her daughter. My mum would give one to me, and Carol would give one to There's like a swap that goes on over in Coventry. I think they're bringing it to Belfast soon. So that's what I'm relying on for transplant. The deceased donor list, obviously, where I got my first kidney. But that's the thing. It's organ donor awareness. The key word is awareness. Not everyone is carrying them, especially with COVID. It's a conversation that people need to have at home. It needs to become a mainstream conversation. And then another thing is, when I first got the kidney, it made leaps and bounds to my life. People say it becomes a cliche at this point, the gift of life. The gift of life, it is what it is. It's definitely what it is. I can't emphasize enough how much these organs, transplants mean to people. As a 23-year-old, you kind of want your kind of life back. I'm not having the same experiences as my brothers. They're going abroad. And that's really it. I think that's so hopefully now with this, thankfully to everyone here, the journalists and the coverage is getting, and what Dr. Stephen Donnelly said there with the opt-in, the opt-out program, I'm really confident now in the next 12 months, there should be a kidney for me.